I have been talking to you about Zeepay and the new investment that Injaro has made. Injaro Investment Advisors are the one of the most respected investment companies in Africa, with over $100 million across multiple funds and investments across SSA, with expertise in private equity, corporate finance, advisory, and management of assets, management consulting, and project management. Now, Injaro manages the Injaro Ghana Venture Capital Fund, which is a private equity fund backed by local pension funds and registered under the laws of Ghana. So this is really key area. Local pension funds are supporting business, and they are licensed by the SEC as well. So they have made a significant input or investment into one of Ghana's fastest growing companies, certainly one of the most respected now, Zeepay Ghana Limited, a leading provider of digital remittance. And Zeepay Ghana Limited, founded only in 2014, so Zeepay is basically less than a decade old, but now they are in 20 countries and they are doing amazing. Some of their partners include MoneyGram, Remitly, and Tap Send. And Zeepay is successfully transitioning into an integrated omni-channel digital platform and value-added service provider, including providing a business across the continent. So we'll be joined in studio by two of the principals. So for Injaro, I have Jerry Parks. Jerry, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Bernard.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure, bro. And then later on, Andrew Tichiapia from Zeepay will be joining us. Jerry, I think you need to say something to me before we start the interview. You need to congratulate me. Everybody has to do that today.
Well, congratulations to the Odadia for winning the 8th NSMQ quiz. I can do this with magnanimity because obviously Achimota School, my alma mater, has beaten you in the past.
1998 was the last time you beat us, which was when I was in secondary school from 3, when I was in my final SHS year. So we've held that grudge for 25 years.
So we cannot begrudge you this little victory. No pun intended.
A little victory. Tell me about Injaro. I like the name. What does Injaro mean, by the way?
Well, Injaro is actually a cannibalization of the word Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro, per some of the research that we did, stands for the mountain of greatness.
Okay.
With the Injaro part being the great. And when we were establishing our business, we wanted a name that sounded African, but that was also very easy to pronounce. So we took away the Kili, we put an I in front of the N, and we had Injaro.
I love it.
So it's a created name.
Amazing. And how long has Injaro been in business?
Injaro has been around since 2009. And, it was co-founded by myself and an Ivorian partner back in 2009 because we're really passionate about investing in small growing businesses or SMEs in Africa because we believe them to be the drivers of economic growth. And we wanted to do our part to help these key drivers of economic growth to actually contribute to the development of the continent.
So the company is Injaro Investment Advisors, but the fund that we're talking about that you're using to do this particular round is the Injaro Ghana Ventures Capital Fund. Tell me about that.
So the Injaro Ghana Venture Capital Fund is our very first Ghana domiciled and Ghana Citi denominated fund. It is a fund that has been anchored or has its core investors as Ghanaian pension funds.
Wonderful.
So I can name a few of them: Access Pensions, Petra, and then there are funds that are managed by Stanley Investment Management Services, also by Data Bank Asset Management Services. So these are all Ghanaian pension funds with capital from Ghanaian pension contributors. And this is what I find really exciting because in the past, people like ourselves in the private equity space would typically raise money from international investors, from America, from Europe, and that money would then be invested in great businesses in Africa. And then when there's a profit made, we send the profits back to the investors' countries, and then we lose the opportunity to reinvest that capital in Ghana. In this particular instance, by introducing this asset class to Ghanaian investors, we're allowing Ghanaian pensioners through their pension funds to invest in fast-growing Ghanaian businesses, accessing a part of the economy that you cannot get access to via the stock market or through bonds alone, and then giving them a chance, if a profit is made, to recycle that profit either into pension contributions that are pension payments that our people benefit from, or investments into even other, even more businesses that can continue that virtuous cycle.
So you win in both ways as a pension contributor because your money is supporting a Ghanaian business that's doing well.
Yep.
And the money will be turned around eventually in multiple fold for you if everything goes well.
Absolutely. That is what the whole ethos is. And a bit more about the fund. It doesn't, just so people know the sectors it invests in. It invests in food and agribusiness, healthcare, education, financial inclusion, which is where Zeepay would fall. And then we have a big bucket that we call industrial services, which can be anything from companies that provide leasing services, environmental services. It could be a company. It could even be a catering company that provides catering services to sort of the extractive sector, or it can be light manufacturing. Right? So we really have a generalist strategy for this fund, which aims at looking for the best-in-class local operators that have a track record of profitability, that also have a clear plan for how they're going to use any money that we give them to further drive profits and growth.
And I like the fact that it's Ghana domiciled and also Ghana Citi denominated. I think that's very important. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
So in our prior experience, we have actually set up our private equity funds outside of Ghana.
Yeah.
And this has been mainly it's been quite easy to do so. These people have their jurisdictions set up to make it easy for anyone to set up.
Yeah.
More recently, Ghana is also trying to make moves to making our jurisdiction attractive to international investors.
Yeah.
So, in that respect, we are playing our part by domiciling a fund over here to help also build the ecosystem, because it's by trying to do something that you come up against the wrinkles, and then we engage actively with the MPRA, Securities and Exchange Commission, to make sure that we are all pushing the same direction to ease the flow of Ghanaian capital into viable Ghanaian businesses. So this is one of the key reasons for domiciling in Ghana. The second thing is, if we're going to domicile in Ghana, in terms of the currency, most PE funds internationally are domiciled in euros or dollars, including those that invest in Ghana. Now, we all know that we've had some challenges with our foreign exchange. And what we found is that you can make a good investment in Ghana, which makes great return in Ghana cedis. But by the time you send the money out to your international investors, it looks like a loss in US dollars or euros. And then they use the fact that the performance in euros or dollars was below par. They use that to attack Ghana and say, well, Ghana doesn't have any viable investments.
Yeah.
So part of us was thinking, well, in that case, why don't we take the money from the people who live in Ghana and whose money is cedis, and give them a good return in cedis, and let them be happy with that return, so that we can. It's just a more balanced and a more sensible approach in our view.
I'm sure you've probably answered this already, but what gap is the Injaro Ghana Venture Capital Fund? That's a long one. What gap are you seeking to fill in the Ghanaian market?
So on the side of asset allocators or institutional investors, so whether it is a pension fund or just any other fund that looks to maximize returns, we are actually giving them access to the faster growing part of the economy. Actually, when you look at most countries, including Ghana, you look at most African countries, I should say, let's say the market capitalization of the stock market only accounts for something like between 12 and 15% of GDP. Now, if you're an institutional investor, your job is to be placing your money into growing parts of the economy, to help them grow, but also to reap a return for your investors. That's your fiduciary responsibility. So the gap that we have in the market over here is that you've got anything from 85% to even 90% of the fastest growing parts of the economy completely untouched by our local institutional investors. So part of the gap that we're trying to fill is to give these institutional investors access to those fast growing parts of the economy. So that's on the investor side. Then on the entrepreneur side, we live in a context where if you have a great business idea as a young person, and you do not have a rich uncle to help support you, then that idea is going to die. It will die a death, and no one will ever see the benefits of your great idea. So in that regard, what we are seeking to do is to ensure that if there are any young entrepreneurs who are growing businesses, have business ideas that could be viable, they don't need to rely on the fact that they have a rich uncle or a rich auntie to be able to push them. We want to be that independent, objective fiduciary that after taking money from institutional investors can impartially and objectively deploy it into the companies that will create the best value economically and also have a positive social impact. And this is one of the reasons why we like Zeepay, because when you look at the track record of the company, it started by a young Ghanaian. When Andrew comes, he will tell you that story himself. Established recently, but very fast growing, and I think most importantly, very ambitious. So he starts a company in Ghana, headquartered in Ghana, and is already present in about 20 countries. I mean, how many young people do you see today who are thinking about a business idea and saying, "I want this to be global," right? So this is going to be we're looking to build a Ghanaian champion. He's looking to build a Ghanaian champion that is going to be known worldwide for delivering high quality services and performing to the highest of international standards in terms of what they do. And from a financial inclusion point of view, if anyone has received received money, I should say, received a transfer from a friend abroad, and that money came via MoneyGram, there's a very, very high likelihood that that money was switched through Zeepay's platforms. So that is happening in Ghana. Sierra Leone is also part of the footprint. There are Caribbean countries as well that will form a part of this footprint. So basically, Zeepay is looking to partner with MoneyGram and other similar originators in as many countries as possible in the world, not limiting themselves to the fact that they're seated in Ghana, or that it is just a Ghanaian company. We really want to create a new paradigm, a very new vision of what a Ghanaian company is, and really sell the idea that a Ghanaian company can also become a multinational. So I think
come at the minute, come at the man.
Come at the man.
Yes,
come at the moment.
At the moment, as you just mentioned, the why Zeepay. Andrew walks in. Andrew Techiapia is the founder of Zeepay, which is a leading provider of digital remittance, termination, and mobile money, founded in 2014. So next year there will be 10. And I think that growth has been incredible. They are in over 20 countries. I don't even know how he did it, but maybe that's a story for another day. But Andrew, welcome to the show.
Bernard, thank you. Good to see you again.
It's good to have you. Jerry has been talking a bit about your company before you came in. But we spent a bit part talking about Injaro and what they want to do. I know you've been doing so many things, but just give me like a capsule quickly. How did Zeepay get here? It's a big story, but just give it to me in 2 minutes. The Zeepay story.
First of all, I want to say thank you very much to our new investors, and I welcome them. I'll say Injaro for now. The rest I'm sure we'll add on as we go along.
Definitely.
We have a set of 4 investors that have come into the pool. It's a full round of $14 million, of which Jerry's team Injaro did $2 million. That question can never be answered in 2 minutes, but well, we've been working hard. We've been working very hard. We've been our business is to focus on remittances to wallets. Remittances to Africa is over $84 billion. Globally, it's $800 billion. It'll interest you to know that remittance to wallets globally is only $22 billion.
Wow.
So the opportunity to scale is phenomenal.
Massive. Yes.
Unlike everybody else who came into the mobile money space focusing on use cases, we decided to focus on solutions. So our 4 core solutions today is obviously remittances, payments. Our payments focuses on the Netflixes and Spotify's and co. Sort of set us aside, focusing on the youth. Our third offering obviously focuses on. Sorry, sometimes I get brain dead.
A lot of things. So remittance,
payments, so other payments. Then of course the other focus is also on microinsurance.
Okay.
Well, probably the biggest when it comes to microinsurance on wallets. Today we have about 60,000 plus users. Since we started in partnership with Hollard, SIC, Glyco, and the 4th one, forgive me that I forgot.
It's a lot of names to remember.
We've only had 1 death.
Wow.
Collection, which was I think sometime in the summer this year. So yes, it's a good product. It means the mortality is also improving in Ghana. So
Wonderful.
we thank God for that.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that you invest $1 and
Yeah.
you get 5,000 in risk premium,
Yeah.
which is not bad at all. As you know, insurance is about protection and cover.
Yep.
But in our part of the world, insurance is predominantly just protection at micro insurance level, which is wrong. So we're also trying to encourage the protection and cover business. And I think so far so good. It's not bad at all. We work in partnership with MoneyGram. So anytime you receive a remittance, you get your micro insurance attached to it.
Wow.
And it's doing very well actually.
So your remittance wallet is like your core.
That's
your,
our core business.
your
Our
core
entire
business.
business is built around the remittance proposition.
So are you the first remittance to wallet or the main one in Ghana?
As a model, yes.
As a model.
Yes.
And then you've built from there
And that's a business model across Africa.
payment. But where within the fintech ecosystem is a bit confusing to me. There's so many things happening. Where has the fintech industry settled, or is it still sort of in a flux? Because I see a lot of people who are starting new companies.
I think it's a lack of. Let me not say lack. I think there's a poor sense of appreciation of what disruption should be about. So that we still do a lot of me toos rather than model driven. So like we came into market focusing on remittance. I always say, look, you can go into sector based approach. If you take pensions, the pension industry is phenomenal. It's virgin.
Yeah.
So you can actually come into the market as a player and say, I'm going to focus on pension payments, pension collections, micro pensions.
Yeah.
And then you understand it and build that horizon. Do you see what I mean? So we start to have different pillars that will come under the umbrella of what fintech or disruption is about. Rather than the me too approach that because Zeepay is doing this, I want to do the same. You know what I mean? We've never changed our model. We'll never change it. We know that our competitors also do the same. But if you take the likes of MTN Mobile Money, we're a big feeder for them. We feed them over $800 million a year. It's fine. That's our business model. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay.
So you understand the part of the ecosystem you play.
Very well.
They understand the part they play, and we grow it together.
And we grow it together. And we would always be an inclusive approach. To interest you, Jerry, that globally, we're the only inclusive platform. We're the only platform that says that from an EMI perspective, we work with all our competitors. You know what I mean?
You allow even for competitors to
withdraw. So
withdraw
our
from
competitors can cash out. If you have an MTN wallet, you can cash out on Zeepay. We have a strategic with MTN for that. You can do same for Vodafone. You can do same for Airtel. Of course, you can send traffic to them. We actually send traffic from our bulk wallets to them. Do you see what I mean?
I get it.
It's about understanding who you are and then going from that perspective rather than trying to play everybody's game.
Looking at the potential for financial services generally in Africa, remittance in particular, how important is it that Zeepay is an African company founded by a Ghanaian? Because we do know that because a lot of Western countries are cash rich, they would also invest in fintech in Africa. So how important is it that it's you who started this and you've spread it to 20 and more countries within the continent?
I think what's more important is the fact that our average age is 23 years old.
In the company?
In the company.
Wow.
Today we're about 280 employees. I think Ghana alone is close to about 200 of that.
Wow.
I think that what is more important is the fact that a bunch of African youth have come together to do this. That's where I see the excitement. I think that the new excitement is the fact that we have Injaro, which is backed by the Ghana Pension Fund. I think this is their maiden fund, right?
Yeah.
For the pension fund.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. I think it's a big score, big win
Yeah.
for Ghana. I mean, today is the startup week, and there's no better day to make an announcement than this. That Ghana has believed in its own and invested in its own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It means that you and I, every day our pension is sitting in Zeepay, and it's opened the floodgates for more of this to happen across the ecosystem. We'll continue to build on governance so that we make governance strong, so that the ecosystem will be stronger.
This is the first type of thing on this scale where 2 million from a Ghanaian, a locally denominated
Private equity, yeah.
private equity
Absolutely.
in a company like this.
In Africa, by the way.
This is not even just Ghana.
In Africa, this is
Wow.
the first time an African pension fund has actually invested in an African startup.
You're serious?
Yes, it's a big thing. This today, it's a landmark. It's a major milestone. For me, when
Wow.
we were doing the deal, our biggest concern was that Injaro would join this transaction.
You wanted them to be on.
We wanted
You wanted them
we
to
wanted
be on.
them more than they wanted us. Because it's a big one. It's everybody in the fintech ecosystem should drink a glass of champagne today.
Wow.
Because the floodgates have been open. You know what I mean? The thing we've talked about and talked about and talked about has finally happened. And
wow.
I'd like to give props to the leadership of the country for at least believing in it. The President of the Republic for his support, His Excellency Baumia himself, of course, the governor, the governors. I think this is a major landmark.
Even though it hasn't, okay, of course, it was just announced yesterday. So I'm sure the news will grow.
Yes.
Because even what you just said, that this is the first of its kind, I didn't see it in the stories.
Yes.
It didn't come out that much, that way.
I think it'll also come out on a big release. There's a big
Oh, there's a bigger release when
all the 4 patents release tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So this is just the 2 million portion of the 14.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So this is your own release. Okay.
And I think, Jerry, the most exciting part of this is also it's done on an $87 million valuation.
Wow.
It means that Africa believes in itself. It means that for the first time we're going somewhere together. You know what I mean? And this is a true business.
But that's not put pressure on you, though.
Well, that's why we're here,
pensioners'
though.
money, right? So
That's why we're here, though. And if you've seen our financials, we have a strong EBITDA. We've had a very good quarter. We'll keep growing. We'll come out of the waters.
No. I mean, a couple of things on my personal side. Usually because it's a local currency one, it makes it safer because a lot of pressure because again you are not in control of everything, right? If the currency depreciation, that's not your fault. So if somebody gives you direct USD, that puts a lot of pressure on you if the currency plummets from 4 to 14 in 3 months. So in a sense, this makes a lot of sense, and this is the way we should be going. So if you crack it, that means that it opens the door. But if you mess it up, that means that I don't know.
Well, I won't agree with you because I have other investors. But one thing I'll say to you is that remember, because we're forex backed,
yeah,
we're able to hedge.
Of course,
So
of course.
we manage
You bring it.
volatility
Yeah.
better.
So you are one of the best companies to deal with.
Right, we manage
FX
volatility
exposure.
better. I also think that my excitement this morning is the fact that not only are we able to realign the business for the next layer of growth, but also we can expand it. And then today we're in Gambia, we're in Sierra Leone, we're in Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
This is for mobile money. We're in Zambia, understand? We're in Ghana itself. Where we have 3 other markets. If even a local Ghanaian company can have 10 mobile money licenses across Africa, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, interesting. Jerry, what's your biggest expectation after this important achievement?
Well, first of all, we fully expect Zeepay to perform amazingly.
Yeah.
It's got a great team, got great prospects, a great strategy. And I think with the support of the positive ecosystem that we're in and the investors that we'll have around the table, we're going to help, push Zeepay to even higher heights. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I guess there's a message to other entrepreneurs out there, people with great businesses who are already performing at a great level, at a good level. We're around to help them push to even higher heights. So we are willing to talk to businesses across the sectors that I mentioned before: food agribusiness, healthcare, education, financial inclusion, industrials. They can talk to us. They can go to our website, and we've got our investment criteria over there. We can connect with them. Then I say, last but not the least, all those pension funds, or those the trustees who have not yet put money into the fund, the doors are still open until the 29th of December this year. After that, we're not taking any more money in this fund. So you lose the opportunity to have your money in great companies like Zeepay in this fund until we come to the market again. So in a nutshell, those are the 3 key messages.
And your final
Thank
message
you.
to your customers and your stakeholders, Andrew?
Well, first of all, once again, thanks to Injaro, thanks to our investors. I'm sure the big announcement will come tomorrow. I want to say that today, Zeepay is not just Zeepay, but it's a Ghanaian company. And the testament is the fact that we don't only have Ghanaian customers, but we actually have you and I as pensioners, our pension sitting there.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful story, and I'm encouraging every Ghanaian to back us, support us, so that the story and the flag will keep rising.
Wonderful.
Africa has exported through us to the Caribbean, to the UK, and the rest of Africa, and we can do more. We also have a Series B that we'll be doing soon, and the idea is to raise significant liquidity so that we can support our own business.
Ain't no stopping you now.
Yes.
That was Andrew Techapia, who's the founder CEO of Zeepay. and of course Jerry Parks, who's the MD of Injaro Investment Advisors, who have made a $2 million investment into they call it the A5 round. Now I have to keep track of all of this. There's the A5 round, how many rounds of Zeepay. Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations on this significant achievement. We wait for the big announcement tomorrow.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Bernard.